healthy, wealthy, successful version of you already existed. Guess what? You exist. Present you, yeah. Past you, yeah. But also even future you. Hi, my name is LaTisha Styles, founder of You've Got Clients, and the most powerful work that I do is helping clients to raise their rates, stop playing small, and step into that next level version of themselves. But what does that really mean, and how does it happen? Albert Einstein has been quoted as saying, "The distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion." What does that mean? So I want you to imagine a train. So imagine you're on a train and you drop a fork out of the window. So you're eating, you're having some lasagna, something good, right? You drop a fork out of the window. To someone who's watching, it looks like the fork flew backward because the train is moving forward, but the fork is no longer moving forward along with the train, right? You dropped it outside of the train. And so to them, it seems as if the fork is moving backward, but it's not really. It's actually only dropping. That's all it's doing. And the movement seems to be different, but it really depends on the observer. So it's only different relative to the observer. And the thing is like you're moving with the train, right? So you don't feel the movement, but if the train were to suddenly stop, your body would continue moving and that would cause a jerking motion as you slow to match. Where am I going with all of this? Well, if you've never heard of it, it's called the block universe theory. So there's this theory that all versions of you exist right now. The past you, the present you, and the future you. And the only difference is that you are observing yourself as the present you. I know it seems kind of odd, like a little bit, like, what are you talking about, LaTisha? But this is what this theory states. And so just like as if you were sitting on a train and the fork falls out and it seems like it's moving backwards, just as if you were sitting on the train, if the train were suddenly to stop, you would continue moving forward or jerk in your seat. It's like all of these movements, all of these things, they're all happening at the same time, but to the observer, they look different. Why? Because of, like I mentioned, what we just talked about with the block universe theory. And the block universe theory says that our universe may be looked at as a giant cube, a universal block of space-time where all things that have happened, will happen, and are happening are all wrapped up in one single moment. I always make this statement, and sometimes my husband laughs at me because I'm like, well, you know, we only ever are in this present moment. Therefore, the past is, the present is, the future is, because we're only ever in the present moment. If you think about the future and you're like, okay, this is gonna happen in the future. Well, when it happens in the future, it's actually happening now. And when you say, oh, this thing happened in the past, when it happened in the past, well, it was now when it was happening, right? And it's a little bit difficult to wrap your brain around, but when you think about that, you can really leverage it and use it to your advantage, right? So to bring it to a scientific level, there are a lot of studies that show that physical responses happen about 10 seconds prior to the stimulus that causes the response. So there was a study that showed individuals a scary image and they would alternate between something that was calm and then something that was scary. And what happened was they noticed that the brain was registering the scary image 10 seconds before that image actually flashed up. So before it was visible to the human eye, the brain and the body immediately started to react to that image. And so in theory, because they were showing these images randomly, the person should not have known when that scary image was gonna pop up, but the body knew. Like, how did the person know? How did that subconscious mind know before the image actually popped up? Because we're only ever living in the present moment. And so when you understand this, once again, you can start using it to your advantage if you're ready to step into that next level version of yourself, because that version of you that's already happy, healthy, successful, wealthy, and wise, healthy, wealthy, and wise, hopefully you're happy right now, but that version of you that's already there, he already exists. So how do you like bring that into your current reality? Because if you're like, okay, well, LaTisha, it still seems in the future, it still seems far off, like how do I mesh those two together? Then that's what I want to share with you, and some things that I've done for myself and also things that I've suggested for clients as well. So let's start with the assumption and assume that you exist. Past you, present you, future you, all versions of you exist. The version and the vision that you see in your head, in your mind's eye, that version of you that has XYZ thing, that does XYZ thing, that acts this way, the way that we bring that version into the present is by one, stepping into the mindset of that version, of that person, of that version of you. So let's assume that you have those things, you are that person, you do the things that that person does. If you were, as that person, to come back to now and tell this current version of yourself what to do, and you only had like a couple of words, what would those words be? What would you tell yourself? What would be that message that you would distill down into, just a couple of words, just a couple of phrases? Secondly, what if you had like a full sentence? If you had a full sentence to share, like what would be the one thing that you would want to tell yourself right now? Like, hey, listen to me. I'm telling you how to get here, how to do this, how to be this, how to have this. What would you tell yourself? What about if you were able to chat over coffee and you maybe had a little bit longer, like, maybe 45 minutes to an hour? What would that conversation look like? What if it was like a full day? What would that look like? And then the second thing you need to think about is like, well, would you actually listen to yourself? Like, if future you that has all these things, does all these things, is all these things, were to come back, right, to come to this present moment now and have a conversation with you, would you actually listen? And so the thing is that your higher self, the future version of you, that version of you that has and does and is all those things, they already are trying to have this conversation with you. Like often we see it in dreams. We can sense it before it's happening, just like those studies where people were sensing it before that image popped up. We know what to do and we know those things that we're supposed to be doing. We know how to step into that next level. But often what happens is like we're scared, we're fearful, we get stuck, we think we need motivation, we think all of these things need to happen before we just assume the throne, before we just step into that version of ourselves that has all the things we want, that is all the things that we want to be, and that does all the things that we know that we should be doing. So here's how to step into your next level. Number one, assume you're going to be successful. Assume that that vision that you see of yourself is the vision that is possible, that it's already here in the here and now, and it's available for you right now. Secondly, go to that mindset. Who is that person? How does she think? How does she speak? How does she act? What friends does she have around? Does she have mentors? Does she have people that are surrounding her, that are supporting her in what she wants to do? What does she believe about herself? How does she take care of herself? What are her thoughts? What is her way of being that's different from what you are being and doing right now? And so that's how we make that shift. That's how we make that change. We go to the future version of yourself and we take on the actions, the thoughts, the mindsets, the feeling, the vibe of that next level person. For me, once I realized that this was what I needed to do and I was ready to step into my next level, I decided to stop making things be hard. Anytime right now, if I sense that something is hard, it's difficult, or if it just doesn't feel right, I just say, okay, not gonna do it. I sat down to start recording videos and I'm scripting out videos and I'm like, I keep trying to figure out like what to say. Like, why am I making this so difficult? I already know what I wanna say. I know what I wanna do. I just don't know if it's SEO optimized, but like, who cares? This is the conversation that I wanna have. This is the content that I wanna bring. And so therefore, that next level version of myself, she doesn't care if it's SEO optimized because she understands that her ideal client can't search for her. Her ideal client is drawn and attracted to her by her vibrating at her highest level and being willing to have those conversations. So that's for me. So think about, what is it for you? What is it for you? What beliefs do you need to have now that you need to install right now that your next level version of yourself already has that you're not allowing yourself to have? And so now you might be thinking, well, okay, if that healthy, wealthy version of me already exists, like, where's the money? Why is that money flow being blocked? So if that sounds like you, then you want to watch this video next, where I'm going to share with you ways that you might be blocking your money. So go join me in that one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.